Okay, you guys are just going to stand and everybody can count. And
yeah, they said, woo.
You go all the way down and all the way up, and no kipping.
Yeah.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Oh, yeah.
There you go,
Yeah, Nathan.
14.
Woo.
There we go.
Come on, pull. Pull.
Come on, Nate.
Get it. Yeah.
Alright everybody, first of all, I'm Ali Scalzo, for those of you who don't know who I am. I'd like to thank everybody on behalf of the Semper Society for coming out and showing your support for veterans. It means a lot to a lot of us. So this whole event kind of started and formed. It was this big idea that the wonderful Miss Madeleine student had, and she definitely was really passionate about it, and being a good society, we backed her up as well as we could, and hopefully this will go off without a hitch, and you guys are going to have a lot of fun watching your friends compete, and sponsoring them and cheering them on. It's going to be really great. So if I could get a big round of applause for the wonderful Miss Madeleine student.
So I wanted to do this today after I heard that Chris Kyle passed away, and Chris Kyle is an American sniper, and I just wanted to give a little speech it's about 10 minutes, about why we're doing this and why this is so important to have this on campus and really support our troops. Thanks. On December 18th, 2011, I flew home to California after my first semester at Colgate. Although eager to see my family, I didn't want to leave school. In just 4 short months, Colgate had become my home. In the airport terminal, I watched President Obama declare that all of our troops were leaving Afghanistan and that the war on terror was officially over. However, when I congratulated the servicemen and women I passed by, I learned that most of our soldiers still remained on active duty in Afghanistan. On my second flight, I had the honor and pleasure of sitting next to a young man by the name of Cameron Payne. Cameron was returning home from 2 years in Afghanistan, and at only 21 years old, the disillusionment from the many experiences and horrors of war radiated from his uniform. The flight was about 5 hours, and between nodding off and taking naps, I was curious to ask him questions and say what I could to welcome him back to the States. Do you guys remember when you found out Osama bin Laden was killed? I found out through Facebook. Cameron, he was just a couple miles away. Well, my family welcomed me home after 3 weeks of finals. I watched his family and friends welcome him home after 2 years at war. As we walked off the plane towards baggage claim, I thanked Cameron for his service, wished him well, and jokingly told him that I would friend him on Facebook. And I wasn't really joking, and that's probably creepy, and I sent him a Facebook request. However, when he accepted a couple days later, the first thing I found out was that the night of our flight, Cameron was hit in a fatal car accident. Cameron was put in a neck brace and later recovered, but the friend who I saw pick him up at the airport had been killed. After all the horrors of war, why was Cameron put in a neck brace at home? After watching his brothers and fellow soldiers sacrifice their lives for us in Afghanistan, how could his best friend die the day he returned from deployment? These questions sadly bring me to another tragedy. On February 2nd, 2013, a fellow veteran suffering from PTSD shot Chris Kyle and his friend Chad Littlefield in Dallas, Texas. Both Chris and Chad left behind wives and two young children. Chief Chris Kyle was and remains an American hero. And for those of you who have never heard of him, I would like to read an overview of his military history written by Craft International. Chief Chris Kyle, United States Navy, honorably discharged in 2009, is one of the top snipers in the history of the American Armed Forces. From 1999 to 2009, he recorded the most career sniper kills in United States military history. Iraqi insurgents feared Chris Kyle so much, they named him the Devil and placed a bounty on his His extensive combat experience includes sniping, close quarter battle, reconnaissance, long-range desert patrols, personal security, and the training for foreign allies. In addition to working and training with the elite Navy SEALs, Chief Kyle has also served with units from the Army, Marine Corps, and other government agencies. SEAL Team 3, Chief Chris Kyle, served 4 combat tours in Operation Iraqi Freedom and elsewhere. For his bravery in battle, he was awarded 2 Silver Stars, 5 Bronze Stars with Valor, 2 Navy Marine Corps Achievement Medals, and 1 Navy Marine Corps Commendation. Additionally, he received the Grateful Nation Award given by the Jewish Institute for National Security Affairs. Following his combat deployments, he became Chief Instructor for training Naval Special Warfare Sniper and Counter Sniper teams, and he authored the Naval Special Warfare Sniper Doctrine, the first Navy SEAL Sniper Manual. Chief Kyle is author of the New York Times #1 bestseller, selling book, American Sniper, the autobiography of the most lethal sniper in the United States military history. And I would like to add that Chief Kyle never took any profits from his book. He gave all of the money that he earned to the mother of a fellow brother lost in combat. This fall, I suggested to the Semper Society that we bring Chris Kyle as a guest speaker to Colgate. And as honored as I am to get the opportunity to speak to you today, nothing in me wishes more that I was sitting in the audience and listening to Chief Chris Kyle talk about his foundation and his life. Some may find it ironic that he killed with a gun and died by a gun. I don't. However, I do find it ironic that the only danger to Chris Kyle was another military man from the United States. Evil never had a chance against Chris Kyle. After his military service, Chris Kyle gave everything he had to protect his fellow brothers from the sadness and emotional damage caused by war. And that distress murdered Chris Kyle. Sometimes in our efforts to honor and decorate our military, we often forget they are people. And mistakes, accidents, and tragedies can happen to all of us. And sadly, that fact applies to our heroes. You see, although our soldiers desperately need your support and prayers overseas, they still need us when they return. Their heroism and sacrifice does not begin and end on the battlefield. It lives on forever. Hopefully these wars will end soon, and every last soldier will return home to their families. However, their suffering and struggles do not end when they land upon our shores. They still need us. And we can help them in many ways. Chris Kyle said in one of his last interviews that our soldiers need to know we support them. Not necessarily support every war or every military decision, but support and love and welcome our troops. Support the individual soldier, who bravely sacrifices a comfortable life, family relations, and a future, so you and I can pursue our dreams and live in a free nation. Thank the 18 to 23-year-olds who volunteer to go to the darkest, most evil places on earth when we complain about spending too much time in a well-lit library. Now this may surprise you, and it surprised me and made me kind of angry. Know that our troops in Afghanistan, many of them aren't offered hot breakfast. Their families are asked to ship them cereal. Think about that. Now, I don't want to criticize Colgate students or college students for different the struggles we may face. Our future career paths are needed as well, and we have immense opportunities to make a difference in this world in whatever vocation we discover. And I don't want to end this speech on a note of despair and sadness, but rather offer solutions to how we can give back and offer our thanks, not just today at this event. In that same interview, Chris Kyle suggested different ways we can reach out. When you see a soldier in the airport, thank them and welcome them home. They appreciate every kind word, every warm gesture. But why stop with a kind word or handshake? Why not buy them a beer? If you have a serviceman or woman in your neighborhood, volunteer to babysit their kids so that their family can reconnect on a date night. We can all use our talents and find creative ways to make an impact. Together, that impact only grows. Your generous donations and participation in today's events are going towards Chris Kyle's very own FITCO Cares Foundation Heroes Project, which helps rehabilitate our brave heroes suffering from battle wounds and PTSD by providing them exercise equipment and other resources to them and their families. And they all know that we're doing this today, and they're going to be tweeting about it all week long, and they're all really excited for Colgate and really happy that we're doing this. And Colgate is ranked one of the fittest schools in the nation, and we are blessed to have great athletic facilities and programs at our disposal. Your donations will give our brave troops the physical and mental support they deserve, as as they return home to their old lives. Remember, the harder you compete today, the more opportunities you're creating for our heroes. While we mourn the death of a great American hero, we will not let his death be in vain. We are indebted to Chris Kyle for his life of sacrifice and inspiration. We mourn with his family for their loss. We thank all of our soldiers, men and women, Army, Air Force, Navy, SEALs, and National Guard. God bless our country and our freedoms, and may our military use their strength and power to fight for justice and peace at home and abroad. And finally, we thank you all for your donations and participation in today's events. I humbly ask you to take full advantage of this opportunity to thank and support our heroes. Go Colgate, God bless America, the land of the free, because of the brave. Thank you. And thanks again for all of our participants today. We're trying to do something, a lot of times Colgate students just, they talk and they don't do a lot of doing. So right now we're representing the doing part of having a solution, and I'm not going to be, thanks for listening to my speech, but I'm not just going to be all talk. I can't do a pull-up, but the money that I got for my birthday, I'm donating straight to Chris Kyle's foundation. So we appreciate you guys can all still donate and sponsor people. So thanks so much, and let's get this thing started.